Hello, we are hiking for health back at Round Valley East Bay Regional Preserve. This time, instead of the Hardy Loop Trail, we're going to do the Me Walk to Murphy Meadow Trail, and depending on how things go, there's one other smaller trail called the I think it's the Fox Trail or the Foxtail Trail. We may hit that one as well. It's an out and back, so either way, we're going to get definitely close to 6 miles in, possibly more. But we're hiking for health again. This time, kind of in the rain. How do you like that? I'll do my best. So we've done about 1.5 miles, and we have been on the Me Walk Trail the whole time. And as you can see, we got a bunch of trail markers. And a little riparian brush rabbit down there hanging out with us. Hi there. Go ahead. You can have the trail right there. So that way is the path that goes to the Hardy Canyon Loop Trail, which is what I did last time I was here. This time we're going to go this way, and we're going to take the Murphy Canyon, or Murphy Valley Loop Trail. And then when we get back to this point, depending on what time it is and how I feel, I may head out that direction to another out and back trail that kind of goes to the park perimeter. So that is the plan. We're definitely going to do at least the Valley Loop Trail here, at the very least. It's going to go into that amazing valley that's just around the corner over here. But we may come back and go ahead and do this this part over here too. We shall see. All right, well, so far the biggest rain we got was when I pulled into the parking lot. It was raining kind of medium level rain as I set things up, got my pack set, including with my rain cover on the pack and everything. But almost as soon as I stepped on the Me Walk Trail, it stopped. And the only other bit of rain we've had when it did start up again is very, very light sprinkles. So not bad at all. Now some of you may be asking, Todd, because either if you know me or you've watched this or any other video on my channel, you can call me Todd. So some of you might ask, Todd, why are you hiking in the rain in the first place? If you knew it was going to rain, what are you doing out there? Don't you have like cat videos to watch on the internet or something? I do. I'll get them later. But 2 reasons. Number 1 reason, it was either hike today in the possible rain or not hike at all this week, and I didn't want to do that. And second reason, if I really am training myself for through hikes, whether it's the PCT or other smaller trails like the Tahoe Rim Trail or some of those, you don't just get to do that. You don't get to just like, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to hike today. No, you're out in the middle of literally nowhere in the wilderness, and you have a schedule to keep because you have a limited amount of food in your pack. Raining or not, you get up and you got to do a certain amount of miles that day. So I decided I would rather hike in the rain than not hike at all. and it is good training. But as it turns out, it's not raining really hardly at all. When it has started to rain, it's been very mild. So no big deal. It's actually nice. That helps keep it from being too warm. I'm actually thinking about taking the jacket off because the jacket is warm right now. Other than that, this has been really nice. Really nice. I'm getting into the valley here. Got some nice oaks along this riverside. And there's my hike tracker telling me I'm at 2 miles. And my pace is about where I want it to be. So awesome. So I'm averaging 24 minutes a mile. That's not horrible. I want to be a little closer to 20, but that's not bad. I'll take it, especially because we were hitting some hills back there. Going this direction, you start with a hill climb literally out of the gate. So anyway, we're going to keep moving on. I just wanted to point out that the last time I was here at Round Valley, I walked the Hardy Canyon Loop Trail, and right there is the ridge that you come across, and then you come down all along the other side of that hill. But from up there, you have a great view of the valley I'm standing in now, and that's why I was like, oh, I got to come back here and walk this trail. But yeah, last time I was here, we were way up there on top of that. And that's the crossover, that's the highest point, and then you start heading down on the trail. So pretty amazing, this little regional park. Well, it's not really little, it's not a gigantic park, but it's definitely not tiny. But this park definitely has a lot of really cool extremes. I mean, you hike like I'm hiking right now. I still had to go over a little bit of the hills. I think the elevation change for this hike is somewhere close to 500 feet. But yeah, so you go a little bit, 500-foot elevation change, but then you get into this valley, and you know it's a little more flatter and just kind of fun, and you're surrounded by the hills. But if you really like doing the hills, then you take the Hardy Canyon Loop Trail and you go through those hills. And I believe they're not marked on any kind of park map, but they're probably cow paths that people take. I have seen people last time I was here actually hiking to the very top peaks. On trails that are there, although I don't think those are official trails. I think those are cow paths. So pretty amazing. You can do some really cool hiking here of various levels. This is really nice here in the oak trees, and fortuitous as it just started to, I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but the rain just started to, it's a light rain, but it just started to come down. But this is a little open picnic area amongst the oaks. This is, you can see the tie-up over there, and then there's a water trough. This is for because there's horseback riding allowed here in this part of the park, and so this is for the horseback riders mostly. But yeah. That's kind of cool. The other thing I wanted to point out is you see this machine right over here. This part of the trail, I didn't see any on the Hardy Loop Canyon Trail, but this part of the trail is dotted with stuff like this because this valley, Murphy Valley that we're in, and here's another machine over here, was part of the Murphy family cattle ranch and farm. And when I think it was the grandson of the man who founded the ranch and farm. I believe he was the one who willed this to the East Bay Regional Parks. They left all the equipment here, and a lot of this equipment, I believe the ranch was established sometime in the 1800s, and some of this equipment may go back that far, but the vast majority of it is definitely early turn of the century, very early 1900s. So that's kind of cool. They are called artifacts in the park brochure and map. They call it an artifact because these are historical artifacts left here. These are turn of the century farm equipment kind of hanging out here. still on the trail. Past few minutes I've had this uncanny feeling I've been being watched, maybe from a distance. Kind of an eerie feeling, and then I came upon this. And, now I'm no expert, but I know poo, and I think that's Sasquatch poo. I think so. Could be horse. I get them confused a lot. That was the one part when I took the poo test. I horse and Sasquatch. I'm not sure, but there's only one way to really find out. It's horse. It's always horse. Well, we've come upon a little crossroads here. So, we were on the Miwok Trail the whole time, which is also part of the Diablo Regional Trail. And that keeps going that way. Now, going that way, which I may do someday, it actually hooks up, it goes outside of this regional park and hooks up and goes through a whole nother regional park that's on the other side of that ridge right there, and goes into eventually Livermore area. And it also, if you go off that way on this trail, it hooks up with Los Vaqueros watershed and there's a reservoir there. And that is like a 10 or more mile hike, which is kind of cool. This time here, I'm going for the Murphy Meadow Trail, which is off that way. And this has all been part of Murphy Meadow. So we are coming off of the Miwok Trail, which is right there. So we've been on the whole time. And we're now officially on the Murphy Meadow Trail. So the trail appears to be doing some different stuff from the map I have, and that's okay though. It means I'm getting a few more miles in than I try to get at least 5, and I'm definitely going to get that in. That's awesome. I'm probably going to get 7 or 8 in. But I've come to this little Y, and this is the Foxtail Trail, which I thought was actually further that way and along at that main junction. But it's not. This is part of the Murphy Meadow Trail. The loop doesn't seem like it was that big. I didn't think the loop detached from the Miwok Trail that early, but it did. So I have decided, because it's only 10:30, is I'm going to go at least a little ways up the Foxtail Trail, because it's an out and back trail, just for the heck of it. If I end up getting to the end of it, awesome, in a decent amount, because I can't remember how many miles, what the mileage is on this one from this point. It's not very long, but I'm going to head up that way just a little bit, just to see what's over yonder, and then I'll come back here, and then I see the bridge, and that means right about there, somewhere over there, is the main crossroad to get back on the Miwok Trail, and then it's about 1.5 miles back to the parking area. So we're actually, like, from this point only about 2 miles from the parking area. You got to go over a couple of hills, but it's not that long of a distance. So I'm going to do a little fun side trek here up the Foxtail Trail. I'm about 1.5 miles from the end. I'm going to do just shy of 8 miles, I think it's my estimate. So final thoughts on the trail. Was very nice. I'm glad I was able to get the Foxtail Trail in as well. So that upped my mileage, which is cool. I want to get minimum of 5. If I can get a lot more than that, great. And saw some riparian brush rabbits, some wild turkeys, all kinds of other stuff. I had most of the trail to myself for most of the time. That's pretty cool. So heck yeah, coming back to that main break off from the Miwok Trail right there. So probably another mile and a half to the parking area, and another great hike here at Round Valley East Bay Regional Preserve. So awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the shots I was able to get, and I'll see you on the next hike.